Hello YouTube, I'm Thisker, and I'm enjoying the build that I created for my crossbow Gemling so much I figured I'd make a video that no one actually asked for. So that's basically what this is. I normally don't make videos, as is apparent by the lack of videos on my channel. So yeah, if you're here, that means that one of the YouTube tags attracted you, so thanks for spending your time. Check this out. Let's get into the build. So it's a basic Path of Exile 2 Gemling build, as far as using crossbow and grenades. I like blowing shit up. So yeah, that's basically what's going on. So use a combination of the Constricted Command Viper Cap with some extra Spirit and Rage, the Grand Regalia, with the modifiers that I needed for like my resistances. Having the Chaos here really made it so that way I could get away from Chaos Rings and get some more rarity. A Mage Blood to stack some armor and evasion. So I don't have the funds and or the patience to check to see if the percentage or if the 2000 evasion 2000 armor would do better. I would love to be able to do that, but probably won't happen because it's good enough as is. Just some basic just basic gear, nothing special about it. I haven't really had a chance to be able to get more funds going so that way I could get the projectile +2, and really the only thing that I need to upgrade, like that I would really love to upgrade and actually will probably upgrade, is this right here. Get the +3 to projectile skills and maybe get the 40% to defense modifiers. I don't have a ton of life on this build, but when I show you the character sheet, you'll probably see why it doesn't matter. I got about an 8. I got a big DPS weapon. This ran me about 600 divines because I stink at crafting, as you can see. Alright, so basically, without my surrounded buffs, this is what my armor and evasion looks like, because I am doing an armor evasion build. This build could easily be done pure evasion. You'll get more max evasion, more max deflection, but I kind of wanted to go this route because I enjoy it. I used the Rite of Golden Passions for the wolf. This one for energy charge when freezing. You can use the other one to get more freezes, but I don't get frozen very often unless I'm doing super crazy end game expedition with all of the big buffs. I think the last time I got froze was during a expedition encounter that was the all runes are +7, and it was absolutely insano, and I died. Will not do again. Not on this character. I have another character that'll do it easily, just not this one. And then a Stone Charm, of course, which gives you more armor. I don't think I've gotten stunned in recent memory, so I don't have to really worry about that. But let's check out the character panel. Energy shield, evasion, life, armor. So I'm kind of stacking the armor. So I got 76% armor. I also break armor, so I get the endurance charges on armor, which will add additional physical mitigation through the endurance charge buffs. As you can see, I got 76% reduction. I do stack into the elemental reduction against hits and chaos reduction against hits. I could obviously do a lot better for that. Just getting, if I were to sacrifice, like say on my gloves, the life leech, and instead of having life leech there, have the elemental damage per armor, that would really increase the amount of reduction that I have there. And then 63% evasion, 43% of deflection, damage by deflection with 74% chance to deflect. Overcapped on all of my mitigations. Good elements. One of the things I wanted to point out is I'm immune to poison and to ignite. through skill trees and stuff like that. And then big speeds, 56% movement speed. My passives, you know, do the virtuous barrier. Where is it at? So right now, I'm not running balanced red-blue or red-blue-green. Um, I went by the most important one to me, which is red, because it gives me the no crit damage bonus, which is freaking awesome for not getting one shot. And then I took crystallized immunities. Unfortunately, because it says if a majority, it doesn't matter if all three of them could be evened out and you would not get any of them for this one. And when I was building this, I kept dying to ignite, so that's why I went majority uh, strength gems, just so that way I could take advantage of the ignite immunity. I'm sure there's other ways to work around that, but I'm either not smart enough or I just don't care enough to figure it out. So, um, but yeah, so of course I do dual weapon sets because I use explosive shot to detonate grenades. I don't avoid the cooldown percentage because of that, but I also don't overly stack on it for my gems. I take a lot of defensive nodes. Of course, I take advantage of the surrounded buffs. This is a really good one to have. Removes all penalties from armor, which is awesome, and then immune to hinder and maim is awesome as well. And then here's one that I like, the extra rage. That the dexterity is actually coming from the time against diamond. I could improve this one, but I kind of like the extra dexterity. As you can tell, I'm hurting on attributes. Another one that I take advantage of is the increase effect fully broken armor and fully broken armor. You inflict also increases fire damage taken from hits. I think that's really cool because I'm always breaking armor. I use the Charm of the Wolf. I also put big armor breaks on my flash grenade, which you'll see here in a moment. And then my gems, they're nothing crazy or special. I got a defensive gem here for movement speed, attack speed, extra armor, extra evasion from equipped body armor. It really helps me kind of stack that armor and evasion. And then my other gems, they look like this. Evasion, I could probably do better for this gem, but I do like having the increased charm effect duration. And then, stuff like this. Extra mana leech. I have a huge mana problem. Mana is quite often the pot that I hit the most. Just stuff like this. All right. So it's pretty cool. Unfortunately I don't have like a POB or anything like that. So if you're looking for that kind of comprehensive guide, you're more than welcome to make it based off of it. And my character's not hidden off of Path of Exile. You're happy to go check it out and do what you want with it. I really don't care. And for my skills, so my necklace has Eternal Rage, so that way I'm always building rage. So I do put her declaration inside of the virtuous barrier for the intimidated presence, which is awesome. I really like it. And then all of these red gems, they're used just to make sure that I have more strength and dexterity gems, so that way I'm immune to ignite. If they're not here, then I won't have that. I love mortar cannon. It just spreads all of this. You can use either cluster grenade or explosive grenade, depending on what you're doing. I don't have any issues with boss killing, so if you have issues with boss killing, put explosive grenade in there. Instead of like Uthrid's constellation, you can put something else in there. I'm just kind of trying this out. I'm sure I could get something better, like maybe heft in there, and it'll be just fine. But I'm checking it out because I want to see how it does. I use Rakiatas on here. That's why you'll see that I don't use the oil grenade. So I'm trying this out. It's working out really, really well. So I think I'm gonna keep not using oil grenade. You know, deliberation, elemental armorance 2, payload, and then Uther's right. So this is just specifically so I get more cost efficiency whenever I'm using a mana flask, and I'm always using a mana flask. Kind of helps with the cost of these mortar when I'm laying them down. I use explosive grenades as a detonator for my grenades, because I'm not really heavily into, like, you know, short fuse or anything like that on any of my things. Wind Dancer for extra evasion, a little bit extra armor break, and you know, blind to main, magnified area for bigger effect, and then armor break and heft, so that way I get to break more armor. Herald of Ash. So the special buff from Gemling is increased fire damage. All of my skills, except for Flash Grenade and Wind Dancer, do fire damage in one way or another. So I benefit from that, and then also watching the pops from the overkills is pretty sweet as well. You know, I just here magnified area, fire mastery, armor demolisher, swift affliction, and prolonged duration is what I got stocked in there. Mostly just to fill out the gem slots for the colors. I'm sure you can find better combinations. I'm too lazy to do that. So, prolonged duration on Mirage Archer, Elemental Armament, payload, cooldown recovery. So I do cooldown recovery for this, so that way by the time this cools down, sometimes you'll see 2 archers on my screen at the same time. Well, 2 Mirage Archers. And I use, of course, explosive grenade for this. All of my gems are level 21. All my attack gems are, just because I splurged a little bit. My cluster grenade got payload, cooldown recovery, elemental armor, deliberation, and efficiency 2. For flash grenade, got second wind 3. Again, more for the you know, mana return and stuff. Heft, cooldown recovery, and armor break, earth melting. As I'm running around mapping, I found that I was running out of flash grenades, so that's why I specifically put cooldown recovery in here for it. Like Uruk smelting, because extra damage is always good. And then this one's also level 21. And then voltaic grenade. So this is the one you would swap out for the other grenade. Drawing a blank, embarrassing. But this would be the one that you would swap out for oil grenade to put down exposure. So I put this one down just for shock on bosses. Magnified area, payload, elemental armor, overcharge to increase the magnitude of shock, so that way instead of a 20% increased damage you get 30, and then efficiency 2, so that way it costs less to do it. This one's really not for damage, it's to put that debuff on there. It doesn't have a huge chance to shock, it's more for electrocution, but it was the best that I could find, that I have available. I'm sure I could do something else for shock, but this is what I settled for because I like grenades. But yeah, that's basic gist for that. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop open a map. I think this is at a 170 delirium at the moment. You know, let's see, what is this, a 6 mod? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 mod, Waystone. Nothing special on these, just some effectiveness, increased monsters, increased waystones. Nothing too crazy on this. It's not like I'm doing uber juiced kind of stuff here. This build can handle everything in game. It's not going to be as fast as like some other content creators like Bubgun or anything crazy like that, but that's not what it's meant to be. This build is starter friendly. You don't have to have the thousands of divines invested into your build like this one is. If I had to guess, this probably has about 2,000 to 3,000 divines just invested through different different things. See, I'm already hitting the mana pot. It doesn't take much. So for explosive shot, I have I forget what is it called. You'll see me dodge rolling a lot because of this right here, Wrath's Assault, because it reloads whenever you dodge roll. Projectile acceleration for more damage, deliberation more damage, and move, is a movement speed penalty, but I move fast enough. Multi-shot and then elemental armament. You could, if you really wanted to stack the damage on that one, you could put ferocity on there, and you see how these tooltip damage goes way up when I'm surrounded. So I don't have a very strong filter loot goblin. I want to apologize because this is not the fastest build in the world. It's going to take me a minute to get to the boss, but it's not exactly like struggling with that guy lives. He's a tough one. Lots of moves. Show you what one of these boxes looks like.
Time to bust this thing open.
Get a nice spread on the border. Why do that? And, I can drop quite a few of the explosive grenades to kind of single target it down. I hit the pot before it told me. I'm not going to do this little tiny expedition unless I see something I really want to break. Like this. Man, I'll come back for it once I fight the boss. You guys have seen hundreds of freaking videos like this. Oh. Internet's not keeping up. Lag! My mortal enemy! Yep, let's see if this lag spike goes away. Talk about embarrassing. Wow. I think it's because I'm recording. But it's okay. Like I said, I'm not much of a content creator. You guys can just skip through all this nonsense. I'm sure it'll level out shortly. Oh, I see why it's... Ooh, that's nasty over there. No wonder why it's lagging. Alright, well, this is unplayable, so I am going to go ahead and stop the recording here, and then I'll post another one of me fighting